It is hour number 2 of this abbreviated Sunday transmission. I'm live 4 hours a day, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I come back on Sundays for an abbreviated 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. Normally I don't go with stories that aren't completely documented out in the open. But when I am aware separately that everything in the story has already been proven and admitted in other mainstream or government documents, then I cover it. Again, a year and a half, this is now 3 years ago, but a year and a half before it became mainstream news, I was sent secret FEMA documents from a pastor. Then I got a second group of them. FEMA found out which particular pastor had sent it to me, went and threatened them. And it said that they were paying preachers, now 26,000 of them. This ties in with InfraGard. You can Google that, with 20-plus thousand executives that have shoot-to-kill orders, martial law powers. And they're expanding that. It's part of continuity of government infrastructure protection. And in the documents it says, this is how you teach your flock to take forced inoculations, to go to the FEMA camp, to follow the orders of troops, to turn their firearms in. Now that's been on mainstream TV and radio and in government documents, and FEMA now admits it because we exposed it and they had to put their spin on it. But it's now mainstream news. And it's mainstream news. They're going to are putting 20,000 regular Army troops to patrol American streets, and they're going to use Marines, and that's now in the news that they're suddenly at DUI checkpoints and car wrecks for PR. They're unveiling it under PR. You're not against getting people out of wrecked cars, are you, on the highway? The Marines are here to help. You're not for drunk drivers, are you? Now, I remember a Rocky Mountain news story out of Colorado in 2002 with the headline, Governor Prepares Mass Graves Incinerators for Bioweapons Release. And FEMA and the CDC now admit that they're prepared for this. Now, when county officials get shocked by it, they don't know where to go look for the original backstory. Also, FEMA lies to them, even though it's open source, documented, and they could find out if they knew where to look. That's like towns where they see an Army base that have thousands of federal and state prisoners on it in, quote, forced labor. They sign a waiver to get a shorter sentence to then be under labor, but then they're basically slaves. They don't know how to Google Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program. Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program. It was secret in '86 when they started it. The feds were doing it to train military how to keep U.S. prisoners that were non-military related. And they declassified it in '97, and we've covered it ever since. But neighbors who were by these camps all over the country, like Anniston, Alabama, there's 24 of them now. There was 12 when they first started it back in the 90s when it first leaked out. It started in the 80s. So there's some backstory that FEMA, indeed, with these integration centers, with these threat integration centers, fusion centers, are federalizing everything. And there's now executive orders out and PDD 51 and John Warren Defense Authorization Act and Pentagon directives saying they're going to have camps and put people in them, and they've built the camps, and it's been in the Houston Chronicle. So all that's public. But then city officials and county officials, when they know about it, they're then scared to talk to the public. Now, a reporter has done the full interview. This reporter we're about to talk to has heard the full interview. He knows the county official. He's in Indiana on the Illinois border, but we're not going to release the official's name in emergency management because the person, I guess, is scared, and we'll find out. But the point is, it's documented. We'll just leave it at that. And so I want to go ahead and bring up now Doug Williams. And Doug Williams writes for Daily Newscaster. The headline is FEMA and DHS preparing for mass graves and martial law near Chicago? And, sir, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on today, Mr. Jones.
I did that little bit of background for folks to understand. Everything that's in your article is already public. Just this particular case isn't, because the individual won't go public.
Yeah, that's correct. People in this position, they worry about retribution and possible responses to them coming out into the open.
Give us your, the official, you're near the county. Give us any, your concerns, why you wrote the story.
Well, I'm concerned for a couple reasons. One, I've been following the martial law story for quite a while. I've been doing the research on it. I've looked into NSPD 51, into the other documents they have, setting up FEMA camps, setting up the legalities to make it possible for the federal government to co-opt local county officials to execute national plans and programs. And one of those programs is, setting up a police apparatus for controlling the population.
Yes, sir. Did we lose your phone?
I'm back. There was a hiccup right there.
I understand.
This is an important issue. These are real issues. These are things that are happening right now. And when someone's willing to come out and speak about their experiences with DHS